Hi everybody. How are you? I'm so excited to be here. I'm just looking down because I can see your comments and things right here in the corner. So as you're talking to me, we'll be able to communicate. So I am Delina Medhin. I'm a makeup artist. I live in New York City, and I feel completely naked right now because I'm showing you my skin in high definition with all the hyperpigmentation and all of that. But I want to kick this off by asking how many people in here are from the U.S. and where are you from? I live in New York. It's actually a really nice day today, so I'm really excited about that. But we today, while you all are sharing where you're from, I am excited to share with you how to cover hyperpigmentation. So there was a picture that was the main picture that we've been using to promote this event together. And that's the type of makeup that we're going to do today. So it's really, really focused on skin. It's specifically focused on using the Skin Long Wear Weightless foundation, which I'm going to show you. It's going to cover my skin and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it actually just looks like it's your skin and not like you have a lot on. Now, hi, Bobbi Brown Cosmetics in the chat. So you'll see that I do have some support that's in the chat. So if you have any questions and I'm not able to get to it, the Bobbi Brown team is in the chat and can help you answer any of the questions. And as I'm trying the foundation, I do want you to know that there are 3 different options. So number 1, you can take part in a complimentary experience where you can virtually try on the foundation. You can also chat with an artist on, hi, Emily. How are you? Emily's part of the Bobbi Brown team. And you can also chat with an artist on bobbibrown.com. And then lastly, you can virtually try on the foundation. So you can have support no matter what it is that we're doing. But I'm just going to give everybody like a couple more minutes and then we're going to get started. And I'm going to show you how to cover hyperpigmentation, active acne, all the things. What do we have? Oh, okay. So we have somebody from the US. Hi, Pamela. How are you? Hi, Deepshika. How are you? Thank you so much for coming. All right. So I think we can get started. I feel comfortable. Is everybody ready to get started? Shall we get it? Shall we get this started? Okay. So I already have this on already, but I do want to show you. This is the Vitamin Enrich Eye Base. So we're prepping the skin. I already have the eye base and the face base on, but I want to go through this with you just so you know how to apply it. So this is the eye base, and I'm just going to take it in my fingers and or on my ring finger, and I like to kind of work it back and forth here, and then I just tap it underneath the eye. You want to try and use as light of pressure as you can, so you're not trying to do too much. And we're just going to take this in and just keep applying it on the skin. Okay. Hi from the UK, Marie. How are you? Okay. So I put it underneath the eye, and then now what we're going to do is we're going to do the Vitamin Enrich face base. So let me just tell you really quickly. So the reason why I'm using this eye cream, aside from any other eye cream, is because it has this ability to be able to like moisturize your under eye, but also prep your skin for concealer and corrector, like which we're going to do in a little bit. But what it does is it provides this grip. So when you're actually applying that concealer and that corrector, it's almost like a little bit of like a magnet, but it's going on smooth. Sometimes if your skin is not hydrated underneath the makeup, it just starts to kind of stick or drag. Has anyone ever experienced that? Okay. So now we're going to do the Vitamin Enrich face base. It's so funny. Like, this is something that I always tell people. So if you ever feel like you're breaking out, I want you to try and focus on the one area of your skin that you feel like is a bit more clear. So for me, it's like right now, it's like this cheek. So I'm going to love on her a little bit. Hi from Germany. How are you? So we're going to take this and just start to apply in kind of an upward motion. And on the chin area and on the cheek as well. So Vitamin Enrich Face Base has been around a lot longer than Eye Base. Eye Base was one of the newer additions to the Bobbi Brown line. This actually came out, I think it was Bobbi Brown team. I don't know if you can quote from me, tell me exactly when it was, but I believe it was like the summertime, this past summer in 2020. So, but this has been around for years and a lot of people swear by it. So it is I'm reading the chat right now. Hi from the UK. I've just joined. I'm so happy I found the eye base. My concealer used to always crease, not anymore. Oh my gosh, right? it's so important to make sure that you hydrate under the eye, but this is the perfect amount of hydration, because if it's too slippery, then things are just kind of flying around. And so it's a nice balance, this product. Okay. I'm looking everywhere, mirror, camera. We've got a lot of places to look. If you have any questions as we're going, please let me know. I also want to let you know that if you are in this chat, I know I talk about Bobbi Brown products all the time. There is a code that you can use in order to get the products for a little bit less, for 15% off. So you can use DELINA Live 15 at the end of your checkout, and it will take off some money. So you get to save some money just for hanging out with me today. Okay, so I'm just applying, I'm keeping applying this. Spend a good amount of time on your moisturizer, especially if you have dry skin. I have oily skin. At least I tend to be oily right in here. I do tend to have some dryness here, like kind of here around the perimeter of my face. So a little bit of combination, but mostly I'm oily. But no matter what your skin type is, this product actually works for every skin type. Thank you for putting that in the description box, Bobbi team. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to show you a technique that I like to use, which is combining two different colors. Now, some of you might be wondering why I'm doing this, because I'm a makeup artist by trade. This is something that I do with a lot of my clients, and I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing for you. Let's say if you're a person who, you know, Delina, I don't really want to be buying a lot of foundations. What I will say is, no matter where you live in the US, typically the temperature will change, right? It'll be colder, and we tend to get a little bit lighter in the wintertime, and we tend to get a little bit deeper, like our skin tends to get a little bit deeper in the summertime. So if you have two colors, you can kind of mix them. So I'm going to start with 6. This is Golden. The name of the color is Golden. This is the Skin Longwear Weightless Foundation. And I'm going to use this Bobbi Brown full coverage face brush. So I'm just going to take this and just start to work this on the back of my hand. Hi from Israel. How are you? Okay, so we're going to start, and we're just going to start to swipe this across the skin. Can everyone see clearly? Let me know how this is going. I'm really excited to share this with you, because I feel like once I tried this foundation the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like perfect. Like, I felt like it was a complete match for exactly where I wanted to go with my skin. I feel, even just if you just look at just that part of my skin, right? That doesn't even really look like I have foundation on, which is quite cool. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm also mixing two different colors is because you can see how I'm lighter in the center of my face, and on the outside of my face, the skin is a lot deeper. So if I were to take this color and bring it all the way up to the top of my forehead, it would look as if I have like too much, it would be too bright. So it wouldn't be mimicking exactly what we have already going on in the skin. So I'm just going to take this and start to build it in the inner part of the eye, or the inner part of the face. If you're the kind of person where you're like, Delina, I only want one foundation, which you do not need to have two. This is just a trick that I want to make sure I introduce to you. Since you're here, you deserve to know what I'm doing behind the scenes. So if you're the kind of person who's like, I don't need to do two different foundations, what I recommend, especially for my women of color, is just to put the foundation in the center of the face, and you can use a bronzer or a powder on the outside. You can see I have a little bit of hyperpigmentation here. So that's why I really reach for that foundation, because I need a little bit more coverage than a powder can really give me. So, okay, so we're going to add a little bit more, and you can see it's like quite light in the center. And we're going to take, I'm just putting it right in the like T-zone areas, and you can already see everything is starting to kind of come together. Okay, and then the next one we're going to do is 6.75. I'm confused. Sorry, I'm just reading a comment, everybody. Tamsin Gregory. I'm confused about the face base, though. Moisturizer and primer in one, isn't it? Do I apply it after sunscreen if I'm wanting to use as a primer, and apply before if I want to just use it as a moisturizer? Okay, so whether you're going makeup free, like you just want to use your moisturizer, you can use it as just your moisturizer, but it does act as a primer in terms of it being able to grip your makeup. So it's both, but you can use it as one or the other. Does that make sense? You don't have to necessarily use it just when you're doing your makeup. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to point out to you is I did just one pump earlier. Now we're going to use one other pump. The most important thing to do when you start to apply your foundation is to just try and see how much coverage can really stretch with just that one pump. And then you add you know, a little bit more in terms of, look at that. You see how it's just blending in so well. And we're going to take this and just kind of pat it into the skin. I do like this brush because it's quite dense. This is also from Bobbi. So I can pack it into the skin to get a good amount of coverage. You see that? It's already starting to look even more like skin. Okay. Take a little bit more. Hi from France. Thank you for coming. Okay, I'm going to keep doing just this side of the face so you can see the difference between this side of the face. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do this side of the face as well. But I really want you to be able to see the difference in terms of what's happening with the skin. So I'm also giving myself a little bit of definition here, and I'm starting from the ear and I'm bringing this down just like this. And in the areas where you don't need a lot of coverage, what you want to do is you want to apply. You can see how I'm swiping a little bit more where I don't need as much coverage. So that's an important trick. I'm going to take a little bit more of the 6, and I'm just going to kind of mix these two just to get right in this area. So we're almost like custom blending a little bit here, but only with those 2 colors. Is everyone liking how this is looking so far? It looks so good. It looks just like my skin. And you'll really be able to tell the difference when I turn to the side. Hi from Puerto Rico. Okay. Just keep adding exactly where you need it. You can see I'm swiping in the areas that I need to, and I am pressing in the areas that I need a little bit more coverage. See that? And everything doesn't have to stay separate. So you can start to kind of bring everything together just with that like swiping moment. You see the difference? So this is one side, and then this is the other side. It's very similar, right? Like this is still reading as like naked skin, which thank you to everybody who always gives me really amazing compliments on my skin. I think it's also just because I use, you know what I mean? I use foundation that looks like skin, and this is definitely one of them. So wouldn't you agree? It looks so different. I mean, it looks so similar, right? Okay. All right. So are we ready to do some concealer? Would you rather me do the full foundation and then do concealer, or you want me to just do concealer on one side so you can really see what's happening? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. That's pretty good, huh? I'm always impressed every time I wear this. Even in person, it looks really, really good. Okay. What does everybody say? Do we have any thoughts? Let's see a before and after. Just do one side. Okay. I'm with it. I can get behind that. All right. So this is the corrector, and I use it a lot. This is so embarrassing that it's this messy. I tried to clean it before I came to see you, but this is how you know that somebody loves it. When it looks like that, you know the love is real. Okay. So this is the corrector. This is great because then that way you can really see. And I'm going to take, this is called Deep Peach. So you can see the color. And I'm going to take, this is the full coverage touch-up brush. And I'm just going to take this and I'll just start to apply this underneath the eye. You can apply this with a finger or you can apply this with a brush. So I like to apply it. It depends on where I'm at with it. If I feel like I need a little bit more coverage with my corrector, sometimes, you know, you didn't sleep the night before, or I was just talking to a friend of mine and she was like, okay, my kids are keeping me up all night. So sometimes you need a little bit more than you would normally. So maybe you want to warm it up. So I'll show you how to do both. So you can apply it like this and just press it on underneath the eye. Try not to bring it too far up. I personally, this is like maybe a stylistic thing, but I don't like to bring it all the way up so that it's completely like one color. I like for there to be a little bit of shadow here. I think it just looks really cool. So I take my corrector, although you can do whatever you'd like, and I put it on the end of the eye and I put it right here in the center of the eye. The other thing you could do is you could take it with your finger and you can warm it up, and you can start by applying it. See that? How I'm applying it with a tapping motion underneath the eye. So just keep tapping. And we're gonna you know what? I'm also gonna cover this in the center too, so that way you can see what that does. For Indian brown skin tone, should I have the color? Should the contour have a warm tone or an ashy tone? You know what? I prefer, to be honest with you, I prefer to go a little bit warmer on almost everybody I work with. Let me take this same corrector, but it's a style thing. So I would say try both, but I prefer warmer, especially when we're talking about bronzer. So when you're bronzing the skin, you're making it look as if your skin has had more sun. Typically, when people have more sun, their skin gets a little bit deeper. And most people's skin, when it gets deeper, it has like a more richer, like redder tone to it. When we're talking about contour, we're talking about making shadow. So if we're making the face have a little bit more shape, we can start with like a bronzer, but then we would want to use something a little bit, maybe a little bit more gray. But I like warmer tones, if I'm honest. You see how this almost just disappeared just with that corrector? That's pretty amazing, right? Okay. I'm going to take this. We're going to get into this brow pencil in a little bit, but I just want to comb up my brow hair because it looks better. All right. Cool? All right. So we're going to take this and just keep patting it on underneath. I do too, Bella, and we're going to use the bronzer in a little bit. We're going to use the bronzer. I'm just going to take my finger and pat underneath the eye. You can see how I'm barely moving the skin under the eye. This is really, really important because what we're trying to do, if we want less coverage, we swipe. If we want more coverage, we pat. So that's what I'm doing. Can you see that? Okay. I'm just going to take a little bit more of this corrector and place it right into the center of the face. And as we're working, if you have any questions, I can answer any of them. Or the Bobbi team can, whichever you prefer. Okay. All right. And then down here at the bottom, I'm also going to use a little bit of the corrector there too, because what the corrector really is doing is it's kind of taking like a peachy tone. It's using like color theory, but it's taking a peachy color and it's covering something that's a little bit more purple. So orange and purple kind of cancel each other out in the color wheel. And so what it's doing is it's neutralizing it. So now if we were to put something on top of it, whether it's foundation or concealer, it's just going to look really, really natural, which is great. So that's what we're doing here. Okay. Is everyone feeling good? Feeling good? Or is everyone feeling great? Okay. I'm going to take a little bit more of this Skin Longwear Weightless, and we're just going to put that right over the area that we corrected, just so we make sure we cover it. You see the difference? It's already looking less visible. That's a great question, Marie. In terms of what you should use, I would get a virtual consult so you can figure out exactly which color you need to go with. That way you can have someone actually look at your skin and help you decide and make it easier for you. Cool? Okay. Corrector is on. Next thing is concealer. When I first discovered this concealer, I was just going straight onto the skin. And what I feel like works better, at least for me, I have a lot of texture underneath my eye. I think this camera is doing a good job of maybe hiding it, but I think you can see there's like a little bit of like fine lines underneath my eye, and I've had that my whole life. So it's one of those things where you got to figure out what works best. And what I like to do is I like to warm it up on the back of my hand. So that's the concealer right here. And I'm going to use this same brush that we use the corrector. And I'm just going to take this like this. And this is going to help warm up. I'm working the product really into the brush. And we're going to take this and we're going to just start to pat. I'm looking in the mirror right here. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to pat it on underneath the eye. And we're going to work this into the center of the face. You can see me adding it in different places. And it's all about building up the coverage. You don't want to do too much because it's kind of hard to remove the product, it's better to just kind of build everything up. So we see that? This is the Bobbi Brown Full Coverage Touch-Up Brush. I've been using this pretty regularly with this product. You know why I think this brush also works really well is because it's so dense and this product is such a full coverage product. It needs something that's going to be able to move the concealer. Like I wouldn't use this concealer with a fluffy, like a super fluffy brush. You need something dense. And this is almost like a very small version of this full coverage brush. So we're going to take and keep applying. And then I'm just going to take a quick moment here and I'm just going to take a sponge and just press underneath the eye here. And we're going to pat onto the skin. And this is just going to make sure everything just appears a little bit more seamless. I'm going to add a little bit more concealer because I really want there to be a huge difference between one side to the other. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit more down the side of the under eye and just kind of keep working this back and forth. Cool. Okay, next step is we're going to add a little bit of powder. Okay, so I like to do this. I like to put a little bit of a loose powder, and this is something I do on all of my clients. I do a little bit of a loose powder, and then I do a pressed powder on top, especially underneath the eye area. So we're taking the Bobbi Brown in Soft. I have a box right there, and it just like fell, and it scared me. Everything's okay. Okay, so this is Soft Sand. We're going to take that, and we are going to, you see it is in the top. Can we see this? Can we focus on this? Okay, cool. So I'm going to take a little bit of this. I have another one of the same brush, and I'm just tapping it off so I don't have too much product on. Okay, and then we're going to take this, and we're just going to tap underneath the eye. Okay, the reason why I do this, a lot of people try to skip the powder step. So what happens is product is going to move because like that's life and that's how things are. But if we set it, that's the reason why it's called set it. If you set it, then it won't move as much. And that's the goal. So we want everything to be completely smooth. And then on top of it, we're going to go ahead and place this powder on top. And this is the Bobbi Brown loose powder. This is the sheer finish loose powder. So, okay. So I'm going to take this and just keep pressing it. Now, the reason why I'm also showing you this is because I want you to pay attention to the under eye here versus the under eye here. You see how someone was asking in the comments, like the difference with like, if you're really trying to cover, I use corrector, I use concealer, I use powder. Now it just appears flatter. Anything that's shiny underneath the eye is always going to look like it's going to show more texture. So that's why I prefer to go with matte, especially in the areas that I'm tending to like break out or any areas of fine lines or texture. If you're trying to make something appear more flat, then you want to definitely use powder. Think about it in terms of like a wall. Like whenever you're traveling, you're going on vacation, I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, but a lot of times in like really tropical places, they'll have walls that are painted and they'll paint it with like a shiny paint and you'll see all the texture in the wall, right? But in most homes that you'll step into, like I'm in New York right now, and when you come in, you look at the painting of the wall and it's typically matte. But if you come up really close to the wall, you can see the texture. But from further away, it actually appears like it's less texture. So the reason why I'm sharing that with you is just so you know, I prefer to always make sure that it's matte underneath the eye. I know glossy is really in, and we're going to use a highlighter in a second, but you want to make sure you use the highlighter in a very intentional way. Okay, so I'm going to keep adding this concealer just right into the center of the face, especially over this area where I have a little bit of darkness. I want to make sure I pat on that. versus, you know, swipe because I want the coverage there. See the difference? Really looks like skin, doesn't it? Okay. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing formula. Does that make sense? Does anybody know what I'm talking about whenever you're traveling? Like you'll notice, like especially in like more humid climates, even going to like Miami, like I'll see that in restaurants and things like that too. I haven't traveled in a while. Has anyone traveled recently? Okay. All right. Everything's looking really good. We're gonna take a little bit of, I do wanna do one more thing underneath the eye. And I'm just gonna show you this because one of the coolest products I've experienced from Bobbi. So this is the color gold. It's called golden orange, and it looks like it's way too bright for me. But and we're gonna use the same brush that we used earlier. If you use this like just right, just gonna tap. If you just use this right underneath the eye, it is like brightening. Look how wildly cool this is. It's like almost completely, like we thought before it was flat. It really flattens out the skin underneath the eye. See that? Right. Totally, Bella. It's like exactly like that. It's very woke up like this. Like that's the vibe for sure. You see the difference with that? It's an added step, you know, but this is the sheer finish press powder. Um, you can also use sheer finish press powder. It comes in a ton of different shades, so you can use it as your all over powder if you're, you know, if you're a girl who, you know, or a person who prefers to use powder all over your face. You definitely can use this all over the skin long wear weightless. But I discovered that and was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of highlighter. Okay, so let's get into this highlighter. And I'm going to take this highlighter and we're going to just apply it right to the tops of the cheekbone and underneath the eyebrow. Look at how cool that is. It like looks like the shine here, but it's going to last. So the reason why we're using a powdered highlighter, and I do encourage, I know a lot of us are, you know, wearing masks to be safe around the country, around the world right now. And, you know, when you put it on, you want to make sure that when you take it off, your makeup doesn't come off. So using a powdered highlighter is a great way to make sure that your makeup, your glow stays put, right? And if anyone's interested in any products that I'm using, they're sharing. The Bobbi team is helping me in the comments, and so they're going to put, you know, exactly what I'm using. But in addition to that, you can use a code at your checkout. It's Delina Live 15, and you can get a discount, a 15% discount, just for you. Wow, look at this highlighter! I'm here for this. Okay, that looks great. Okay, here we go. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of bronzer. Well, you know what? Actually, hold on one second here. I do want to say that, oh, you know what? Let me put this on right now because I like to put on something that's a little bit moisturizing onto the lips. I had some of this on earlier, but I want to make sure that I put this on now before we put on our lip colors. So this is Bare Poppy, and I'm just going to take this and just go all over the lips. This is the extra lip tint. This is moisturizing, but it also has a nice little tint to it. Very, like Bella was saying, very woke up like this moment. Great thing to throw in your bag, just so you can get somewhere and you're like, oh, I just want to put a little something on it. I also think this color Bare Poppy, my lips are naturally like a darker, like grayish brown tone. And the cool thing about this lip tint is it takes away a little bit of that and still gives me this like pink, like a little bit of pink, but it complements my skin. So if your skin tone is similar to mine, then this might be something for you to look into. Okay, now let's try something else. I'm going to take a little bit of bronzer. So this is the bronzing powder. This is in the color Deep. And I have a bronzing brush that I'm going to get into right now. I'm going to take this and just tap it into the bronzer. and I'm going to tap this off. I almost always tap off the brush because sometimes you pick up way too much product, and this doesn't matter what product you're using, you just pick up too much. So I just kind of take it off a little bit on my hands before I get started, and then I start to tap this onto the skin. And you'll start to see this will mattify the skin a little bit. And the question that was asking me earlier about bronzer. So you can see how this has, it almost looks a little bit, well, it's not really picking up, but in the pan itself, it actually looks a little bit more red. So it has this like, my skin, when I go to the beach, when I get sun, it turns a little bit more red. So this is like literally the perfect tone, but that's what you're looking for when it comes to a bronzer. That's what you want. That's what you want it to do. Hi, Kiran. How are you? So nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. And I'm just going to take this and just kind of work this into the ear. I always like to add a little bronzer on the ear. That's like a nice trick, a nice moment. And we're almost setting the makeup with the bronzer as well. Do you see that? What's happening here? I don't know if you can really tell, but we're getting there, right? Okay. The other thing too is I have some like lines on my forehead. If you notice that you're having that happening or moment happening, make sure that you mattify in those areas. I know we were talking about like underneath the eye, but also on the forehead. I always try to make sure that I mattify on the skin there, and it kind of makes that appear a little bit less, a little bit less visible, which is great. Are we comfortable with where we're at with this side? Do you want me to keep going, or should we do this side right now? And I mean, I'm gonna finish up both sides. I just want to know how you feel right now. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of this same color. You know what? Let's take this. I'm gonna take a little bit of the golden or the soft sand color, the soft sand powder that we were using underneath the eye, and we're also going to use that just in the center of the face. And this is just going to help mattify the skin in the center of the face and help set that corrector and concealer here. You see what's happening here? And I'm using a very small brush, but you could use something. I'm looking at the brushes that I have right here. I have all the Bobbi brushes right there, if you're wondering what I'm staring at. But you could use a bigger brush if you want to. But I actually like a nice detailed brush moment. It's like I can really control where the powder goes and what everything looks like. Okay. Looking good. We're looking good, right? Okay. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit of, I actually did this in that photo that you all saw. This is I'm just going to take a little bit of the bronzer, and you can actually use your bronzer, specifically this one, for eyes. So I'm just going to take this and just put it just right into the crease of the eye. And then, as I told you before, I love having a little bit of color on the bottom. So we're not doing eyes today, but I do want to put this here just so I have a little bit of color, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay. Next, we're going to do brows. So this is the Bobbi Brown Perfectly Defined Long Wear Pencil. 2 sides. So brush up your brow here just to kind of see the shape of your brow. This is really important if you're really trying to achieve, the look of making it. Brows that are up, let me just show you the difference. Okay, so brows that are down like this, or you see how it just doesn't feel as clean or as lifted. This side feels like my face is a little bit more lifted, right? So I'm just going to take this and just, boom, pull up. And we're going to extend the brow tail just a little bit. This is in the color Soft Black. And the tip of this is quite little. I don't know if I don't have this set so that it can focus because it was auto-focusing all over the place. But I want to make sure that you can really see the tip of it. And this is what it looks like if I'm drawing, but I can also get it if I do it on the side of the pencil, I can get it to go that small. So it doesn't have to be, you know, it can do quite thin hair strokes as well. So I'm going to take this and just kind of fill in the brow, and you're just going to do upward strokes because typically that's the direction in which the brow hair is, and kind of comb through as you do it, and it'll get you, you know, a nice shape to this. Boom. We're looking good, right? All right, give me a thumbs up if you are liking what we're doing so far. I'm seeing that we have some people in here right now that seem like they might be enjoying what's going on. Okay, so I do want you to take a look at this side. I'm gonna do mascara on this side, and then we're gonna go back and do this side, and then we're gonna finish off with the lip because I don't want to leave us hanging with the lip. So this is the Smoky Eye Mascara from Bobbi. I'm just gonna take this and just wiggle this at the base of the lashes. Thank you for the thumbs up. I love the interaction. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna take this and just wiggle at the bottom. How's everybody feeling? Has anyone in the comments or anyone who's attending tried this foundation, and are you here to learn how to use it? Are you curious to see how it works? Tell me more about your experience, because I've liked this foundation from the moment I put it on my face. I was like, oh, this is it. But I'm so curious to see what your thoughts are. Okay. Just putting a little bit of mascara, and you can really see. I'm going to allow you to kind of look at this side of the face, and you know where we started and where we're at now. This side didn't have as much hyperpigmentation, but this is my skin with nothing on. So that way you can see the difference. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Or should we do the lip first and then I do the other side? What are your thoughts? I feel like we should do everything and then put on the lip so we can have a moment together. I'm going to take a little bit of this corrector, and I'm just going to start to put it underneath the eye here. And just keep working it underneath the eye. Boom. The corrector, sometimes I feel like because the corrector does such a good job lifting the color underneath my eye, sometimes I feel like I can go without concealer, but I do feel like the pairing of the two helps bring it back to the normal skin tone color. But in terms of just like that, right? I don't even have concealer on, and it's like, whoa. Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for coming. Hi, Miss Joe, this or that. Okay. Boom. So we have that. And then we're going to take a little bit of Instant Full Coverage Concealer. So for anyone who's hopping in right now, I'm going through the steps in the process of doing this. And for people who have been here, this is great, because something that I've realized about myself, being a makeup artist, I've taken so many classes from so many amazing artists. And something that I realized is that the first time you watch somebody do something, you're paying attention to like what products they're using. And the second time you watch, you're paying attention more to the technique. So try and hopefully you have this similar experience where while you're here, you're learning kind of both because it's being like repeated to you. So I'll take this concealer. So this is the Bobbi Brown concealer. The color I use is golden. This is the Instant Full Coverage. I was mentioning this earlier, but something I really like about this is that it is a very stiff concealer, which is good because it has a lot of coverage. But I like to warm it up, and I like to use this dense brush to apply it. This is how I feel like it looks its best. This brush is almost like a copy of this one. It's just the smaller, more like petite version. And I'm convinced. Joe, I'm so happy. Joe, have you been here since the very beginning? Did you see my skin with like nothing on it? I feel like everyone who sees this video and sees the way that the coverage is from just watching where we were and where we're at now, I think people are just going to be like completely blown away. So I'm just going to take this and keep blending back and forth. Curious to see how it works because I did not know this foundation. I am so excited for you to be here. Thank you for coming. And I do recommend putting this on the back of your hand first. before applying it onto your skin. I'm going to take this and just work it underneath the eye. Looking at my mirror right now. Okay, and then we're going to take some more foundation. To go over what we were doing, I used a little bit of 6 in the center of the face. And down here. And this is the full coverage brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of 6.75, and we're just going to start to put it on the perimeter of the skin. And the reason why I'm using these 2 foundations is because I really want to be able to get the coverage that I need with this product and mimic the color that I naturally have in my skin that close to my hairline. It's a lot darker. It needs a bronzer. It needs something to warm things up there for sure. So if you don't have quite as much hyperpigmentation, you could probably get away with using a bronzer or using a pressed powder as your contour. But if you need the coverage, I would definitely suggest 2 foundations. That's definitely the way to go. I'm just going to put a little bit on the sides of the nose. That's how we fake like a little nose contour moment. And something that I'm sure you're noticing is I'm using a good amount of coverage. And it doesn't matter how much I use with this, it's not going to start looking like I have too much makeup on. And that to me is really, really important. A lot of the work that I do is red carpet, TV and film, that type of makeup. So whenever I'm working on my clients, one of the most important things for me and for them is that they look like themselves. And but they also feel like a more flawless version of themselves. So this is a really important trick that I've learned, is to use a foundation that has this level of coverage but still looks like skin. See what I mean? Okay. So here we are. We're almost finished with the look. We're going to finish up with a nice lip color, which I'm so excited about. I hope you all are too. So everyone who's in the comments right now, are you, and people watching, are you the kind of person who likes to go for more of a natural look? I'm thinking probably so, right? I feel like everyone has to have a natural look in their back pocket. It's like important to have. This is Deep, in the color Deep. This is the Bobbi Brown bronzer. Just going to take it and wipe it off a little bit and just set the foundation and add a little bit of color. Make sure you get your ear a little bit underneath the chin area. I look like I just came back from a beach vacation. Am I right? Man, can't wait to go to a beach somewhere. Okay, let's get into this under eye thing. This took me a long time to really nail as an artist. But I will say this, okay? When it comes to the under eye area, when moisturizing it is half the battle. So making sure that I use this vitamin enriched eye base underneath before I set it is everything. And if you're in here and you're interested in purchasing the products, don't forget you get 15% off if you use my code DELINA'S15. Okay, this is a clean brush. So earlier we were using the other one. I have 2 of these. And we're going to take this and we're going to set underneath the eye. Down. This is the sheer, by the way, this is the sheer loose powder. Sheer finish loose powder from Bobbi. And this is in the color Sand. Soft Sand. So you can see me setting the makeup. You don't have to go heavy on the powder. You know, I know a lot of people like to have a glow, so don't feel, pressured to do anything that doesn't feel natural to you. But underneath the eye, I feel like that's a non-negotiable. Everyone should be putting powder underneath the eye. That's where I stand, okay? I'm gonna take a little bit of this foundation just around the lip area. I have a little bit of darkness right here, and I like to make sure that that's covered before I put on a lipstick. It also helps the lips kind of stand out a little bit more. And before we do that, I almost forgot. We're going to do a little bit of the brow, comb it up so you can see the shape. Take the pencil and pull through. This is in the color Soft Black. This is a really, funny enough, so there's so many different colors that you can pull from this. So no matter what shade you are, you can have the right color for you. But I actually really like that this is a little bit deeper. This is such a skin focused look. It's nice to have a strong brow, just something to kind of like define the shape of the face, but still really stay true to the look itself. Okay. A little bit of bronzer on the eye. This is one of my tricks I do all the time. And I'm gonna, Millie, I love that. Natural look is the best for me. Me too. I have so many natural looks. And even when I throw on a color, it's always like the base is always like pretty natural. I feel like it looks so good to have it like that. Okay, need a little Q-tip. How's everybody feeling? I know this is taking me a while to do, but I do want to say that if you're home and you're doing this for yourself, it won't take you this long, I promise. I'm just explaining everything I'm doing so that way you can walk away feeling empowered when you're in your bathroom. Or you can play this video at the same time. It'll be on YouTube, so you could see it. And I could be there with you as you're doing your makeup, and we can like hang out and get ready together. This is Smoky Eye Mascara. Wiggle at the bottom and pull through. I was always frustrated trying to find my foundation looking too ashy or too light. I never thought to use two colors. Oh my gosh, Marie, I'm so happy that helped. Yeah, that is my go-to. I love using two different ones, especially when you need that coverage, It's like a powder just can't get you there sometimes. Oh, thank you so much, Iha. I'm so happy that you like this. I'm just going to take whatever's left over. I always use whatever's left over on the bottom lashes so that way I don't have too much there. Smoky Eye Mascara. Are we ready for this lip? Do you all want to choose the lip, or do you want me to choose the lip? Okay, we have two options. I was thinking about, I already actually had an idea of how I was going to do this, but this is the new crushed lip color from Bobbi. And these are the most beautiful natural tones. There's literally a color for everyone. This one is called Dark Chocolate. So pretty. That's this one right here. And then this one is called Blue Raspberry. I hope that it's called Blue Raspberry. That's so funny. Blue Raspberry and Dark Chocolate. I was thinking about Dark Chocolate on the outside and a little bit of Blue Raspberry on the inside. Hopefully y'all agree. So pretty. And I have that lip tint, that skin lip tint on underneath. Oh, okay. We're on the same page, Millie. You wanted that dark chocolate too. So nice, right? And then I'm just going to add this just because why not? We're here. We have two options. I'm just going to put a little bit of this in the center and a little bit of powder to finish everything up. But I look like I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to go meet a friend for brunch, right? Like this is a whole look. Taking a little bit more of this powder. This is that soft sand again. And we're just going to powder underneath the eye and in the center of the face. I always try to get rid of the shine right in this area and right in this area. So it's not too shiny. Listen, but it's your world. If you want shine, you do your thing. I'm not going to hold you back from your greatness. Okay, I feel like we're in a good place. I could add a little bit more coverage in spaces, but I feel good. Do y'all feel good? I feel great. Are we good? Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. This has honestly been so fun. Bobbi has been such an awesome company to partner with for me, but also for you. Thank you for coming. And there is a reward for that. If you're interested in purchasing any of the products that I used, you can go to the website and just use Delina Live 15 at the end. You get 15% off of anything that you purchase. It doesn't have to be just what I use today. You can use it for anything on the Bobbi website. But thank you so much for coming, and I hope you have an amazing day. If you're interested in keeping in touch with me, I'm available on Instagram, YouTube, all at Delina Medhin, DELINA, last name Medhin, MEDHIN. Peace out, and I'll see y'all later. Thank you. Thanks for coming.